What's up everybody, this is Master Ian Gamer, and at long last we have finally gotten the first official teaser for the upcoming Lego Overwatch theme. Just a couple hours ago, Blizzard tweeted out this short video on their official Overwatch Twitter accounts, showing off a hero select screen featuring outlines of Lego versions of different Overwatch heroes. Now if we pause it once they all come on screen, it appears from left to right we have Widowmaker, Reinhardt without his armor, Genji, Soldier 76, Mercy, and McCree. Now, these of course are only 6 of what I'm sure will be most, if not all, of the actual Overwatch heroes in Lego form. I'm a bit surprised we don't see Tracer here, given how iconic she is, but I'm sure they will not forget about her. Unfortunately, we don't get any looks at these sets themselves yet. However, we do know that these sets will apparently be making an appearance at both the Korean Overwatch Fan Festival as well as Gamescom, as indicated by the schedule for the Fan Festival and the tags listed in the tweet made by the official Lego Twitter account when posting this same video. So within 24 hours, we'll probably be getting a good look at least some of the sets, which are all supposed to be coming out sometime in 2019. Now, there's a few things about this teaser that I think are worth delving into a bit. First and foremost, as I mentioned, Reinhardt doesn't have his armor here, which I do think is a rather strange decision, as clearly his armor is what makes him iconic. Certainly Overwatch fans will still recognize him by his face, but to the average person, especially younger kids who might be getting Lego sets and don't actually play the game themselves and only know of it through the characters through the internet, they might not really recognize him. Additionally, despite being a big tanky character, he apparently only has the proportions of a standard Lego minifigure. For those of you who are quite familiar with Legos in general, they oftentimes make figures that are referred to as big figs, which is essentially when they take a character that's bigger than the average human proportions and make it its own separate mold in order to better represent that character. Perhaps the most famous instance of this is simply the Incredible Hulk from the Marvel Universe. I think Lego would be skipping out on a major opportunity if they don't try to make a big fig version of armored Reinhardt, which makes me think that he'll be appearing in at least 2 sets, one of which he will have his unarmored version like we see in the teaser here, and another where we will have the big fig version of him. At the very least, I have my fingers crossed that they do that, because I will be very disappointed if we don't get a proper Reinhardt figure. Now, a couple other things to note here are actually the backgrounds they show during this teaser. They show off 3 different maps, being Hanamura, Watchpoint Gibraltar, and Dorado. And I don't think these maps were chosen purely at random. We know from past interviews that Lego is planning to release 6 different minifigure scaled sets for the main line of the theme, I suppose, as well as a number of other minifigure centric sets. Now, as for these 6 main ones, I suspect at least one of them is going to be a point from one of the maps. And initially my thought was it would either be Hanamura or Temple of Anubis. The reason for this is I think these 2 are perhaps the most iconic maps out of the entire game. And now that we see Hanamura being shown in the background here, I'm pretty confident that at least one of the sets will in fact be building one of the points from Hanamura. Probably the first point if I had to hazard a guess, mainly because of the bell. I think it's a bit more iconic. Also, if they did the second point, they would have to have the tapestry in the back, which could be a bit difficult to make out of Lego, but then again, who knows. Now, as for Watchpoint Gibraltar, I wasn't quite sure what they would be going for here at first. However, I am fairly confident now that the set will quite possibly be the largest out of the entire line, and it'll be the very final point at the base of the rocket gantry. Now again, like me, if you're familiar with Lego, you know that they often prioritize making vehicles whenever they can. And there's a good reason for this, which is that, well, kids like building and playing with vehicles. And Overwatch itself doesn't particularly have a whole lot of vehicles. There are, of course, the payloads, but most of those are just sort of objects, like science tech objects. or bombs. However, the spaceship at the end of Watchpoint Gibraltar could easily make for not only an iconic build, but also one that kids could actually play with. Again, judging by the size of the spaceship itself, I'm expecting this to be the largest set of the entire line, and it'll likely also include quite a few parts from the gantry itself and just the surrounding area. Again, this is all just speculation on my part, and we are probably going to find out for sure in, well, less than 24 hours. But I do like trying to come come up with what exactly LEGO is going to formulate from the maps themselves. Now, moving on to the last map we see teased here, we have Dorado, and this one really confused me for a bit. Maybe it's just me, but Dorado definitely doesn't stand out as one of the more iconic maps from Overwatch. The only location along the entire map route that I think would even be somewhat iconic is probably the festival square right before the first checkpoint. But even that isn't particularly unique or interesting. But then I remembered the point of the map itself, which is the payload. And this, in my opinion, is probably the single most iconic payload out of the entire game. Not only does it have an appearance in an animated short, but also it's an actual truck. As I said before, most of the other payloads are weird tech things or bombs, but this one is an actual truck. And as I said, kids love vehicles, and a truck is a vehicle. So of course, this set is going to be the Dorado truck payload. If I had to hazard a guess, I would say this is probably on the medium to low end in terms of the price range for this set, because if I didn't mention before, all these sets will be at varying price ranges. And I'm not sure whether they would include any details from the map itself aside from the truck payload, but I definitely think that the truck will be the focus of whatever set it comes in. Now, assuming that all these predictions are by some miraculous measure correct, this still only accounts for half of the main sets we're going to be getting. I would love to delve more into speculating about what else we could possibly be getting, but given that, as I said, we probably have less than 24 hours until we see most, if not all of these sets anyways, there probably isn't a whole ton of reason to start speculating at this point. But despite that fact, I would still love to hear your thoughts about this down in the comments below. Do you agree with the 3 set ideas I predicted based off of this teaser video? Or do you have your own ideas about what sets could be created and would work really well as LEGO toys? Regardless, I will also remind you that yesterday we did get a teaser for the new animated short, which will also be first premiering tomorrow, so you can check out my video on that if you haven't seen it already. And also, if you want to make sure not to miss any of the details and announcements being made at both Gamescom and the Korean Fan Festival, then be sure to check out my Need to Know video going over the details of the event schedules and what is expected to be announced there. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and share it with a friend if you really liked it. Subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and turn on notifications to both help out my channel and keep up with all my future Overwatch content. This is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, have a great day.